The Metro Manila we now know is busy, crowded, and often suffering from traffic armageddon. Although hard to believe, Manila was once praised for its opulence and decadence, earning the label the Pearl of the Orient. Avenida Rizal. In the 1920s, Avenida Rizal was a popular place to eat and shop at stores like Bata and Otis department store. Tutuban Station. The Tutuban Station of the Manila Railroad Company, which ran the Manila-Dagupan Trail in the 1890s, is now the Tutuban Mall. Matorco. The Philippines used to have double-decker buses called Matorco, which ran the Luneta and Rojas Boulevard route. They were phased out in the 1980s. Santa Ana Cabaret. The Santa Ana Cabaret was where Filipino and American soldiers would pass the time. Advertisements of the cabaret claimed that it was the largest one in the world. Manila Yacht Club. The Manila Yacht Club was founded in January 1927. During the war, sport sailing stopped and the Americans confiscated the boats for fear that the Japanese might use them to attack Corregidor. Crystal Arcade. In the 1930s, the Crystal Arcade in Escolta housed the Manila Stock Exchange and one of the first malls in the country. Binondo Canal. Jose Rizal actually mentioned this canal, part of the Pasig River, in Noli Me Tangere. Parañaque Salt Farm. The South was not always home to exclusive subdivisions. In the 1940s, they had farms where salt was extracted from seawater. Palma Hall, University of the Philippines, Diliman. This was a scene captured in Palma Hall or AS from the LVN film Tia Lolen from 1952. High Alay Stadium. One of the finest buildings along Taft Avenue in the 1940s was the High Alay Stadium. A large playing court was located on one side of the building. Quiapo. Quiapo, which has always been a busy district, was once referred to as the old downtown of Manila. These photos, taken in the 1950s and 1970s, show Quiapo with its usual vendors but with a lot less traffic. Pier 7. Pier 7 was erected in 1918. At around 1,000 feet long, it was known as the $1 Million Pier because it had the longest passenger pier in the world back in the day. Araneta Coliseum. In 1952, J. Amado Araneta purchased the 35-hectare land where Araneta Coliseum now stands. EDSA. EDSA from the late 1980s to early 1990s didn't have flyovers and the MRT. It had fewer buildings, restaurants, and malls. Jones Bridge. This bridge in Manila was named after William Atkinson Jones, the principal author of the Philippine Autonomy Act of 1916. It was designed by architect Juan M. Arellano. Manila International Air Terminal. The Manila International Air Terminal is now known as the Nielsen Tower, which housed the Filipinas Heritage Library and now Blackbird. It was situated in Makati because Paseo de Rojas and Makati Avenue used to be runways. Escolta. Known as Manila's Wall Street before World War II broke out, Escolta was the country's first commercial district where the rich and famous hung out. Sadly, most of its buildings were destroyed during the war. Manila Metropolitan Theater. The Met, pictured here in the 1930s, was one of the most prominent theaters during that time, where both local and international artists performed. Bullfights. Bullfights were held in Manila as early as the 1890s, where local talents and animals were used for the bloody sport. Sarao Jeeps. Sarao is the first company that made jeepneys from as early as 1953. Together with Francisco Motors, the brand dominated the manufacturing of jeepneys back then. Rojas Boulevard. Formerly called Dewey Boulevard, this photo of Rojas Boulevard in the late 1950s shows that there was once a time where Manila had less congested streets. Pasig River. In this photo, taken during the early 20th century, Filipinos did their laundry on the steps that extended to the Aduana Building or Intendencia, which housed several government offices during the Spanish colonial period. Luneta Park. There was no park nor any obtrusive building surrounding Rizal's monument shown here in the 1940s.